athletes and the final stages of their careers, what they do towards their twilight. This is just kind of a discussion period. We had a couple people in mind we kind of wanted to talk about. You'll see in the bottom left corner of your video screen if you're watching on YouTube. We've got Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, LeBron James, three very different examples of what happens towards the end of a guy's career. Ryan, I know this conversation was kind of sparked by your viewing of Tiger Woods just this past week. What did you see from Tiger that wanted to spark this conversation?
So Tiger was the former champion at the Zozo Championship. So I was expecting him to repeat that and defend his title. But just watching it, he's still an amazing player.
Mm-hmm.
He's still hitting some great shots, putting up some decent scores. And I mean, he's 44 and he's still able to compete with a lot of the younger guys. So I just thought it was pretty cool. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've seen him a couple times, here and there over the past couple of years. And to me, he's kind of up and down. Obviously, he's had those terrible back injuries and he's come back from a lot of stuff. But I find it really interesting. And then kind of contrast that with Tom Brady, a guy who's up around that age, 43 years old, who to me looks as good or better than he has in years. His arm still looks fresh. He's still moving okay. I find Tom Brady to be kind of an interesting case, especially contrasted with Tiger Woods. Tom Brady has had some serious injuries. He tore his ACL back in 2008, but I think he actually came back better from that injury. I think he spent a lot of time during that year off getting a lot better, and he's had this interesting second half to his career. Mark, what do you think? Maybe you can kind of talk about the LeBron James example.
With Brady, I think Brady and LeBron both, I think nutrition and just stuff off the field just plays a huge part into how they continue to stay in shape to play in these professional leagues at such an old age. I mean, like 43 playing in the NFL, like that's unheard of almost.
Unbelievable.
And to be like performing at the level that he's performing at. It's crazy. I think with LeBron, like a lot of it is his recovery, nutrition, training. I think that plays a huge role, especially the older you get.
Absolutely. I heard J.R. Smith was on a podcast. I can't remember which one it was. But J.R. Smith was on a podcast a little while back, and he said LeBron James spends $2 million every year on his body. And I think that's kind of what you got to do. Like, when you get up to this age, or that age that LeBron is at for an NBA player, you see a lot of guys in the NFL too. I think like Ben Roethlisberger is one of the most hilarious examples. He missed all of last year with an elbow injury, and he said for the first time in his career he worked out in the off season. And Ben Roethlisberger looks like he doesn't work out in the off season. So it's interesting. Some guys just kind of stumble and flop their way to the end, taking on injuries, and then you got guys like Tom Brady and LeBron James. Can you guys think of anyone else out there who's had really good longevity?
I know Joe Thornton. He's getting up there. Newest Maple Leaf signing. Yeah, he's 41. He's still kicking around and he's still competing. I know Yager a couple years ago.
Jaromir Yager. That's who I was just going to
really old, and he was still in the league.
He's still playing.
I think, he's still playing in Europe somewhere.
Let me look him up. Jaromir
And
Yager.
I think as an athlete, I think your biggest investment is in yourself. So I mean, if you have all the money in the world to buy nice cars, buy nice houses, and all that stuff, why not put some of that money back into you so you can continue the career?
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
And Jaromir Yager is sorry, Mark, I'll let you go in a sec. Jaromir Yager is 48 years old.
Yo, what?
He's still playing. He's playing for HC Bozen Bolzano. In where do they play?
That's crazy.
Oh man, they play in Italy, so he's playing in Italy right now. Jaromir Jagr. So that's kind of another thing you can do. You see that a lot in basketball. Guys kind of end up in China towards the end of their career. Maybe not some of the bigger guys, and then Jaromir Jagr, you can just kind of slip off to Europe and collect a paycheck.
Yeah, what I was gonna say about like Brady and LeBron is that it's crazy that they're still performing at the same level, like playing the same way as they were when they were younger. Like you look at older players in the NBA, they often have to switch their play style.
Absolutely.
Like if they were like slashers, they have to turn into shooters just because they can't move. And so it's even more crazy to think about. Like LeBron is still like pushing people around and like moving people.
Yeah, but LeBron has evolved, and so is Tom. Tom Brady. Tom Brady's kind of become. You don't think of him as a mobile guy, but he used to run around behind the line a lot, and now he's more of a stand-up passer. LeBron has become basically a point guard, a distributor of the ball. You remember him in Miami as kind of a, attack the rim kind of player, and he still does that, but he's way more of a distributor. I think of Dirk Nowitzki a few years ago. He got old in a hurry, and his knees became dust, and he's like, fine, I'm 7 foot, I can shoot, and I'll just stand over here and rain it down on you from anywhere on the court. And this is kind of a side note, but I think that's why Kevin Durant is going to be okay after this Achilles injury. He's kind of going into that twilight of his career. He's 31 now, I believe, maybe 32, so he's going into that probably final few years of his career. I think maybe him and Kyrie have like 3 or 4 years in them in Brooklyn. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with him coming off that injury. But I think Dirk Nowitzki is kind of a good example to where you can change your game, and if you're a good shooter in the NBA, you can kind of just stand anywhere and shoot. You don't have to be entirely healthy. Any other examples that kind of pop into your guys' head?
For me, I think it's crazy that you still see LeBron attacking the rim it's his first year in the league. And I know a pretty relevant example with Kobe. I know he was a pretty athletic basketball player, and he kind of like transferred his game into like 3-point shooting and the mid-range game, and so.
Yeah, absolutely. Him and Michael had kind of very similar arcs. Michael Jordan, of course, I'm referring to. They started their careers as just kind of insane highlight reel. I'm gonna dunk all over you. Kobe had the benefit of Shaq to kind of balance that out a little bit. Michael, at the beginning of his career, had the benefit of Charles Oakley. But they both kind of evolved into more ball hog shooters, play creators, whereas beginning of their career they just kind of went at the rim. So I think a big part of this is just that we've kind of landed on is evolving your game. I know we started with Tiger Woods, we kind of got away from that. I don't know how you evolve your golf game per se. I think at the end of the day you're still gonna have to torque your back all the time. Maybe I'm just not well versed enough in my golf. But maybe let's just bring it back to Tiger. What do you think is the model moving forward for Tiger? I mean, we've seen guys like Jack Nicklaus and several other guys who are like Arnold Palmer golfed until he was like 75 years old. You can kind of just find like tournaments and tours and stuff to keep on doing forever and ever. That's kind of the benefit to those individual sports like golf. Because there's going to come a time where LeBron and Tom Brady are just too old to play, and they're just too beaten down to play in their respective leagues. But Tiger could keep finding crap to get paid for forever and ever and ever. He just has to go, make an appearance and make a little handshake. So I think it's a little easier for Tiger maybe to make that transition. What do you guys think of that?
I think for Tiger. I think it's just about time for him to join the championship tour or the Champions Tour.
The Seniors Club.
The Seniors Club. You've seen Phil Mickelson doing it.
Yeah.
And he's ripping it up down there. So, I mean, I think it's just inevitable that Tiger will end up there. I think he's just trying to drag on his career up there
Sure.
for as long as he can. But I mean, when you were saying like evolving your game in golf, I follow Bryson DeChambeau on Instagram, and that guy is constantly changing his game. And he posted a picture the other day, and he hit a ball 400 yards.
Ooh.
And I was just thinking about it. And the change he made was making his shaft longer, which allows you to get more power behind the ball and everything like that. And
he also added 40 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, he did that too.
Also got jacked. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Bryson DeChambeau, a guy we've talked about on the show. I don't know. I don't see Tiger adding 40 pounds of muscle though. And
definitely not.
With those back injuries, the back injuries just, I think you lose so much power off like your torque. Like you just got to torque your back so much.
I actually read up on all of his back injuries, and he blames running. He ran a lot at the beginning of his career, and he said it worked for him for a bit, and then as he got older, his body, his back, his knees just started to.
Running is a lot of impact, right?
Yeah,
it's high impact activity. Yeah, well, whatever's going on. What do you guys think of the? We're gonna get into our draft a little later, of our favorite comeback stories. But what do you think of the Tiger Woods redemption arc? Do you think he's redeemed himself?
I think he put a lot of the rumors and all that garbage that he was going through a couple of years ago to rest. I think he's over that. I think he's back to the Tiger that he once was. But I just think with all the young players coming up, I just think he's ready for the champions.
Ready to move on.